New day and another laptop that needs to be saved, and this time we have a Dell XPS 9530. This would be like a 2023 model. This one was sent in because it has no power, no lights or anything like that. But here's the thing, I can actually smell burning electronics coming out of this. So we know that we have something catastrophic in here. I haven't taken a look at this yet. We're gonna look together and see if we could save this laptop. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is not even try to turn it on. We're not gonna plug in any power or anything like that. Whenever we can smell that, we know that there's something burned up on the board, and there's no point. So let's get the bottom cover pulled off and see if we can identify what we are smelling. All right, so these covers are usually really hard to pull off. I was able to pull it off without even using a tool. I just was able to pry with my fingernail. So we know that somebody's been in here, and the smell is pretty intense. So if you've ever smelled burnt electronics, that's what's coming out of here. It's just like radiating in this area. So we know we have probably something pretty bad. So let's take a quick look around. Let's see if we can see anything that's obvious right off the bat. I do notice that the battery looks like it has been replaced. This is a non-genuine Dell battery. You can tell it doesn't have a serial number. You can tell the fonts are a little different. They tried to make it look the same, but it is a fake battery, I can tell right now. So we have a couple sticks of memory here. The NVMe slots, there's only one populated. This one doesn't have anything in it. This is the two fans and the heat sinks for the GPU and CPU. And usually, if we're gonna have something burned up, it's gonna be over here or in this area right here. This is gonna be the main power rail area where it charges the battery. And these are gonna be the CPU and GPU area where it powers the CPU and GPU. And so there's gonna be a lot of current going through here. So let me unplug the battery first, and then we will take a look around under the microscope. All right, I'm gonna start over here in this area. So this is where the battery plugs in, and these are gonna be where the charge MOSFETs are that create the main power rail. And here's a couple USB-C ports. This machine is actually powered by USB-C. It's gonna go to this PD controller chip. It's gonna go through these two chips, and then it's gonna come over here to create the main power rail. Everything looks fine there. And if we just kind of rotate around, we may not be able to see anything on this side of the board and maybe on the other side of the board, or we may have to use our nose and follow our nose and see if we can find it. But we're just doing a quick once-over around here. See, we can't really lift up or look at too many things. Let me pull this heatsink off real quick. Now the issue whenever I smell something so burnt like that, I feel like we're gonna end up having a burnt motherboard, the actual burnt layers in the board. And when there's burnt layers in the board, there's really nothing you can do. You can only rebuild it so much. And this is coming off really easy, like someone has already taken this off also. So I'm hoping that that's not gonna be the case. I'm hoping it's something that we can resolve if it's just like a burnt chip or something like that. But sometimes even a burnt chip, because they get so hot, they end up welding themselves to the board. So the metal actually melts instead of the solder. And so here's the GPU, here's the VRAM. There's the VRMs that power it, the power stages. Here's our CPU and the VRMs right here. So all of that looks fine. So that's a good news that we don't have a bunch of damage over here on the CPU and GPU. So hopefully those things are fine. I think we're gonna have to pull this board out because I'm not seeing anything on this side. But let me use my nose real quick and see if I can smell where it is. Oh, it's definitely in this area right here. Yeah, it's down here in this area. Now it may be on the other side of the board. Let me lift up the LCD connector. I've never seen a burnt LCD connector on this, so hopefully that's not what it is. Yes, we have some melting going on here. Or we have some heat going on here at least. So this is just a plastic bracket that helps align the LCD cable, but you can see that this thing has melted, this plastic here. Oh, and I can see something shooting out right there. You see that, the marks on the board? Yeah, so we can definitely tell there's been some heat in this area, and we do see some sort of scorching there. So I'm gonna try to get this popped off. This should actually not be fused together like this. This cable just sits into this little bracket. There we go, got that up. Let me unscrew this bracket now. Okay, there we go. So now I have the bracket unscrewed. So what is going on here? Why do we see this? Why would this be on the board right here? Is this just heat marks? Because these are vias here. So I bet the component that's burned up is on the other side of the board right here. What do you think? It makes sense because if this whole area is getting hot, and then these are vias, these dots, they connect this pad to the other side of the board. So if there's something connected to the other side of the board right here, and it's getting really hot, then it will be transferring heat over, and then we have this thing melted or getting hot. So I'm assuming our explosion's on the other side of the board right here. Plus, if I smell over here, it smells pretty intense. So let me pull this motherboard out. We can take a look on the other side of the board. All right, and the motherboard is out. Now, it doesn't look like somebody has pulled this motherboard out when I was pulling it, so that's a good sign, but... Okay, wow. I'm definitely seeing some damage, just a little bit of damage. Whoa, okay. I hope this board, oh my gosh, look, there's even components falling off. Look at this. This whole area right here is not even, what am I looking at? Wow. What is that? How could this have happened? Wow. Okay. Oh man, and the smell is intense. This is incredible. So this is from one component shorting out completely, I guess? Do you think this is gonna be the cause of the fire here? This component, or this one, or this one? And you see how I was talking about the board, whenever you have components getting really, really hot, they actually melt the metal. And so it welds to the board. And you can see that the board layer right here is swelling up. This is all swollen up inside the board layer. So I think the board layer shorted out. I don't even think it's a component that shorted out. You can tell this whole region was getting hot. Look, it was swelling up underneath here too. I have no idea. I've never seen anything this bad before. This is not a normal thing. This is not normal, and I don't know how this could have happened. But it looks to me like inside the board layers had melted. There's been a lot of heat in this area. There's really nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. I don't even know. Look, right here, I think this is that via that we were talking about, or maybe this one. But you can see that even the vias are completely melted. I mean, this is crazy. Look, yeah, see this via right here? It's melted. See how this is swollen here? This thing's just floating. And this, forget about this. This is gonna be impossible to fix. Even if I was able to replace all these components, the board layer is messed up. This chip, look at this chip, it's just falling apart. Look at that. Unfortunately, this is gonna be a motherboard replacement. There's really nothing I can do. The damage is, I mean, this is incredible. I've never seen this much damage on a board, especially this machine's only 2 years old. There's no real reason that we should have this issue. Maybe it's 3 years old. I think this is maybe a 2023 or 2022, but there's no reason why this should happen. And this is not a common thing. I've worked on so many of these laptops, and this is not something that's normal. So I don't know what would have caused this. This may just been a manufacturer defect or some sort of surge in the system. I don't see any liquid damage, so I don't think it was a customer's cause, but this board will definitely need to be replaced. There's really nothing I can do. Actually, let's go ahead and clean this up, and I want to see if we get a little bit more clarity of what we have happening. So we'll just use some isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush. I mean, this chip is just floating right here. That's just so funny. I mean, there must have been a lot of heat. A lot of heat. And this, I don't even know what I'm looking at over here. See that? This right here is like metal that's balled up. No, it's not metal. It's oh, it's another chip. It's another chip that was completely melted. So this right here is going to be an inductor coming from a main power rail probably. I was assuming that this was maybe a capacitor that burned up, but even if we had a lot of heat that was from one component, we generally would not see bubbling of the power rail right there, or the board layers, and then we wouldn't see bubbling of the board layers here. So we have to have something damaged inside the board layers. I mean, this is crazy. Just seeing this, the damage that we have here, like, I don't know what would cause this. The heat was pretty intense, and you have the board layers rising up. You know, if we had one shorted component that was preventing voltage from flowing and maybe going straight back to ground, and then you'll have the board layers getting hot, or maybe it was something intermittent that kept happening and pulsing. There's nothing we're going to be able to do on this one. We're just going to have to do a board replacement. This is unfortunate for this customer. I'd love to know your thoughts on this one, and thanks for watching.
I couldn't save this laptop.